environment. I really care about the environment. So if there's anything I could do to make the world a better place, that's something I would certainly do. I am David Fernandez. I am a future engineer. I am SDP.
Coming from a family that didn't speak much English, I always grew up having to translate and they didn't understand much. So I always wanted to know more and how I could help them, especially within their health. That was the most important thing for me. I started to learn more and more, and I actually found a great passion in not just helping my family, but just other people as well. The hands-on experience that I got in the medical assisting program were skills such as medication management, bedside manner, patient care, how to do EKG, CPR, phlebotomy. Doing all those things coming into high school is like a very great and new and exciting experience. My teachers were inspiring. They pushed me to do better every day, and they were very caring within all the support that they gave. All the skills that I learned in high school helped me to become what I am doing today and now in my career. I am a pharmacy technician at Penn Medicine. I currently calculate medications dosages, and I label and dispense medications. I am Angelina Siung. I am a pharmacy technician. I am SDP.
I choose to teach here in Philadelphia because I'm a product of the school district. My mentors always instill that giving back is important, especially if you want your community to be successful, you have to give back. Teachers in the school district of Philadelphia make a difference every day by showing up, preparing our youth with all the skills needed after graduation, just being there, getting to know their students, building relationships. I try to create a classroom environment that's inviting, engaging, belonging. I want my students to feel empowered. I want them to make mistakes, learn from their mistakes. I want them to grow, take advantage of their own learning. And I want them to leave here with a growth mindset. It's important that my students leave my classroom with both technical, personal, and workplace skills. So the students learn things like job interview, resume, interviewing, just being relatable, presentable, communication. So they get hands-on technical skills, but they also learn how to work in the workplace, and personal skills, just growing up and being an adult. My students mean everything to me. I love them. They are amazing. They show up for me. They are my reason why I come to work every day. I am Chanel Lockhart. I am a computer technology teacher. I am SDP.
The best student, growing up. I was a good student, because my parents didn't play anything outside of that. But I was a jokester. I was trying to find myself, in the classroom and what I was good at. Sometimes I was bored in class. So I see that in my students. Sometimes they're trying to find themselves. So, I just try to bring that into the classroom, my experiences, and tell them that it's going to be okay. You make your future self happy. You make some good decisions now. You'll be proud of yourself in the future. I'm a history guy first and foremost. I love history. But I segued to English because if you can't read the history and you can't write it and articulate your opinion, your thought on history, there's no point in even talking about history. I can teach history through English. And so I teach my students how to write emails, everything, because you're not functional in society when you don't have those tangible skills. So writing is important, speech is important. I try to marry everything that happens in the real world to the classroom lesson. What's going on? How do you handle this in life? How will you handle this at work? How do you go get that degree? If you want to be a doctor, how do you study hard and can stay on a course when things don't go right? So I always tell them, always look in the mirror and adjust what you're doing. Turn out the noise around you, and you should be very successful because you're holding yourself accountable. I choose to teach here in the city of Philadelphia because of the resilience of the students, of the culture of the city, the parents. I see myself in my students. you know, so I love being here, love what I do. I can see the impact that I'm providing for these students every single day. I am Armand James. I am an English teacher. I am SDP.
I've always loved knowing how things work. My teachers really cared about me and my dream of becoming an engineer. They helped me take the right courses and earn college credits while still in high school. Now, I'm in college full-time on a scholarship. I am David Fernandez. I am a future engineer. I am SDP.
We are the School District of Philadelphia. We are accelerating Philly.
Good morning, everyone. Please stand for the national anthem and the Black National Anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, oh, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the School District of Philadelphia's 2025 State of the Union Address that we call State of Schools. Please silence your phones. We would appreciate that. Let's give Jayla Tyler, the Next Measure Jazz Band, and Mr. Andrew Warren another round of applause. Mr. Warren is the musical director. Everybody is from right here, School of the Future. Let's show them some more Philadelphia love. We also want to share some love with David Fernandez, a 2024 graduate of Strawberry Mansion High School and future engineer, as he so proudly told us in his video. He earned college credits while in high school through SDP's dual enrollment program. Let's give it up for David and the dual enrollment program. As David told you, he's studying engineering full-time thanks to a scholarship at Temple University. Now let me tell you some more about what's going on today, because I'm sure you all have seen our bands that we're wearing and our t-shirts. The video is part of the district's new I Am SDP campaign. Let's say, I am SDP. I am SDP. There you go. You all weren't excited like I wanted you to be, though, so let's try it one more time. I am SDP. I am SDP. Thank you. The campaign tells the stories of our students and educators. It also shares the many ways we are preparing our students for college and career success. So starting on Monday, you're going to see the I Am SDP campaign citywide. You know, we don't play here at the School District of Philadelphia. You're going to see it on TV, on the radio, even on SEPTA, at the bus stop, subway stations, billboards, and across all social media platforms, and so much more. So on behalf of Superintendent Tony B. Watlington and the entire School District of Philadelphia, we are honored to have you here this morning with us. We're going to reflect on where we have been, share where we are going, and look ahead to where we're going after we pass through where we are right now. But most importantly, today, you're going to hear how under the leadership of Superintendent Watlington, how we're accelerating academic achievement through the 5-year strategic plan, Accelerate Philly. So before we get started, I'd like to recognize all the dignitaries who have joined us. If you're elected officials and you're in the room under the sound of my voice, please stand. Thank you. Thank you for your attendance, and thank you for your continued support. Now I'd like to introduce the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia, Madam Mayor Sherelle Parker, to offer greetings for the city. As many of you know, she's the first woman to lead the city in over 300 years. Before taking the top spot, she dedicated her life to public service starting at a very, very young age. She's a former public school teacher, a state legislator who headed the Philadelphia delegation, a member of Philadelphia City Council representing the 9th District, and went on to become Majority Leader. She is getting it done for the city and for our children. She's changing the way all of us work and think and unifying us through her One Philadelphia slogan. Join us in welcoming Mayor Sherelle Parker.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. And thank you for the very kind introduction, Monique. Good morning, and I want you all to know that I am very grateful to be here on today to celebrate with you the accomplishments of the past year and to confirm my commitment to keeping public education and our children at the center of all of the work being done by the Parker administration. Watching the video and listening to the young lady sing, again, it affirms that our students are packed with potential and possibility. For us, we're focused on the path towards a well-paying and successful career. And, you know, I've been doing a lot of thinking and working with my own son, and I don't care what you decide you want to do in life, everything starts with the basics: math and reading and science. Just this week, you all know that the National Center for Education Statistics, they released the 2024 NAEP results for math and reading. And these scores reveal that students across the country are still performing below pre-pandemic levels. However, we should note for the record that scores for Philadelphia students show modest improvements in all 4 areas that are tested, and our students need to hear from us and know that we are proud of the progress that they've made, and we are pleased that to see our district continuing to move forward. I'm not sure if any of you pay attention to any space and place that I am in when I am introducing 2 people, because I really do get very protective when I introduce them. When I introduce our Philadelphia Police Commissioner, Kevin Bethel, I refer to him as my police commissioner, Kevin Bethel, the best police commissioner in the nation. That's a message for any other cities across the country who are thinking about they're coming to get my police commissioner. Well, you hear me say the same thing when I'm talking about our superintendent, Dr. Tony Watlington, and I am so proud, and we should be so proud of him being recognized as Superintendent of the Year by the District Leadership Development Institute. You made us proud. Stand up and recognize him, please. Please. We are proud of you, Dr. Watlington. We're proud of you. He is a tremendous superintendent for our children, faculty, and everyday employees of the School District of Philadelphia. But you know, the state of our schools is a culmination of what I would refer to as, yes, the extraordinary leadership under Dr. Watlington, but you can't talk about Dr. Watlington's leadership without talking about strong partnership as it relates to our local government, local governance coming from our Board of Education. President Streeter, and to this board, we want you to know that we are super excited and grateful about all of your tireless efforts. And quite frankly, someone always reminds me that, you know, Sherelle, people forget that being a member of the Board of Education is a volunteer effort. But I know it's a double full-time position. And I just want to say to you, President Streeter, all members of the board, we are so grateful for your commitment, and to our students and our student members. Yes. As an elected official, and thank you, Monique, for affirming that I've been working in government for a little while, and it's so very easy for folks to say that they care about public education, but this is when you have to embrace James Baldwin's thinking that, you know, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. When I tell you that the Parker administration is committed to the School District of Philadelphia and public education, to say it would not simply alone be enough. That is why last March, we set the course to add $129 million in new city funding over 5 years by shifting our real estate millage rate from 55% to 56%. We were excited about that. It's also why we worked also very hard to capture the growth of property revaluations to secure an additional $119 million in city funds for the district over 5 years. And for all of the math teachers who are in the audience, you know that these efforts together combined, they deliver over $250 million in additional revenue over the next 5 years for the school district of Philadelphia. In addition to that, you know that the city of Philadelphia, we can't fund public education alone. Last year, our governor, Josh Shapiro, he signed the biggest one-year increase in education spending in Pennsylvania school history. Give Governor Shapiro a huge round of applause. Important for me to share with you, what did that mean? You know, $232 million more for Philadelphia schools. Whenever someone tells you that they value something, listen to what they say, but always make sure that you can quantify it with a specific number. And I know we all together will continue to support our legislators in Harrisburg to ensure that it delivers what it should, to ensure that it's doing and fulfilling its constitutional duty, and that is to provide a thorough and efficient public education for students across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But that's just the funding. We, the city of Philadelphia, also enjoy a very strong partnership with Dr. Watlington. And again, that's just not appropriations. It continues with the strategic initiatives and investments that are moving the needle every day for our children. I want you to think about the extended day, extended year pilot program that shrinks the opportunity gap between children who are in suburban schools and those who are in Philadelphia, to ensure that no child is left behind and on the outside looking in. When we started working on these programs, we realized that some in the suburbs could afford to pay out of pocket, and parents did it as standard operating procedures in their households. I don't care if we were talking about spring break, summer break, winter break. Folks have access to extracurricular activities and enrichment opportunities, and your socioeconomic status should not be the sole indicator to determine whether or not you have access to this. So what does it mean? Thank you. What does it mean? It means that we're serving thousands of children through extended day and extended year in 25 schools, and that includes 5 charters, and we are going to continue building on that momentum. I'm also very excited about the partnership with the district, because it was integral in our developing the first of its kind in the nation with our City College for Municipal Employment. That's what we refer to as CCME, that allows students to train at the Community College of Philadelphia for good paying city government jobs. I don't know about you and Dr. Watlington and President Streeter, when I was growing up, it was viewed upon as a plus if you were trained and had access to the opportunity to become a local, state, or federal government employee, because those roles were essential. And we have to make sure that folks know that it is still essential and something that we should be proud of, to gain employment with the city of Philadelphia. So give CCME a round of applause, please. This other issue, too, that I want to mention, I want to say this to you, and you're going to hear more about this when I give my budget address in March, but I'm laser focused on this, and my focus has not just started. It's something that I worked on when I was in the city council and even in the state house, and that is district teacher retention and recruitment. Few things are more important to children than having quality educators who stay with them and help them grow and develop. I am 53 years old, and my English teacher from high school still calls me and gives me instructions. Her name is Jeanette Jimenez. The most recent text that I received from her read capital EAGL. Exclamation point. And I said, Jeanette, I am never too old to learn. But with that being said, I want you to know that we really are privileged to work with a young man, Dr. Watlington. You and I participated in the conference that took place in our city not long ago. A gentleman by the name of Sharif El-Mekki from the Center for Black Male Educator Development, a visionary leader who has long been in the trenches in this fight for teacher retention and recruitment. And I just want to say, Sharif, I hear you. I knew and I know what was standard for me, and we need to work hard and being intentional about that. And as we continue to tackle these crucial issues, we are moving responsibly to address the state of school buildings. Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley is not here. Jessica is here from her team, but Superintendent Watlington and President Streeter, we're going to do things decently and in order. And when we should have been, innovative about 10 to 15 years ago, when these tough discussions had to occur to think about the future, we didn't have the model that you all have recently outlined. In our administration, I'm really looking forward to working with you. I've got to say this to them. State Senator Vincent Hughes, our Speaker Joanna McClinton, and our Appropriations Chairman Jordan Harris. Give them a round of applause, please, because this doesn't move. None of this activity moves when it comes to school facilities without them. Finally, my administration is committed to the intergovernmental collaboration that is necessary to develop this facilities plan to guide us over the next 20 years. And we have to do it from the ground up. It has to start with community, our students, their parents, their caretakers, the district, local, state, and federal government. So for my administration, in partnership with Council President Kenyatta Johnson and all members of City Council, we all continue to stand united in our support for the School District of Philadelphia under your leadership, Dr. Watlington, under your governance leadership, President Streeter. And I know some of you may think that that is the norm. But when I've been here now, a little over a year, and I've talked to mayors and superintendents at different activities and conferences, U.S. Conference of Mayors, National League of Cities, Dr. Watlington, I didn't know that every mayor and every school district superintendent is not joined at the hip with the board chair, but there will be no divide and conquer and no division among the three of us, along with our council president, along with our legislative leaders in Harrisburg, because if we did allow a divide and conquer strategy to move us apart and not hammer out much needed compromise to address seemingly intractable and problems that seem insurmountable to overcome, we wouldn't be what you hear me talk about with that one Philly, a united city. And it's more than a slogan. It's not a slogan for me. It's a goal about how we deliver service, about how we strategically work together, about how we leverage these roles and these seats that we have to deliver for the people we represent. Now, I've got to leave as soon as I get finished, but I can't go without seeing all of you put a 1 in the air for me. And I can see in the back a little bit. Let me hear you all repeat after me and say, one Philly. A united city. I am a former teacher and you were terrible. Can you do it again, please? Let me hear you all say, one Philly. A united city. Proud to work with you, Doc, and President Streeter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Parker, for coming. We know that you have a busy schedule, but we appreciate you allotting time for us. We will now hear from Board of Education President, Reginald L. Streeter, Esquire, who will deliver the occasion. President Streeter believes that public education is not only a civil right, but it's also a human right. He's a graduate of Germantown High School, has 2 children already attending the Philadelphia Public School, and I just asked him if his toddler is talking yet, and he said no. But we do know when the toddler starts talking, the first 3 words are going to be Mommy, Daddy, School. Join us in welcoming President Streeter to the stage.
Wow, I have to go after our mayor. Thank you, Monique. So good morning, everybody. And allow me to welcome you to the School District of Philadelphia's 2025 State of Public Education. Wasn't that an incredible performance by, sorry. Thank you so much for being here as we celebrate our amazing students. It is a distinct privilege to follow a dedicated champion of public education, our Mayor Sherrill Parker, who from my understanding is what would be considered a highly qualified, well-supported teacher in her time when she was a teacher. Madam Mayor, I know you had to leave, but we sincerely appreciate your unwavering dedication to our students. Thank you for being part of the village, advancing the future of public education. Before I dive into my remarks, I want to acknowledge the board members in attendance here. Could you all please stand for me, please? All of you, please. I have not been around a more dedicated, talented collection of individuals in my life. And I'm around some talented folks as a trial attorney in Philadelphia. And I thank you all for sharing your time, your talents, your resources, and your energy and your spirit for our students. And thank you for making time this morning to be here this morning. Your hard work and commitment to our students is something to aspire to, and I genuinely enjoy leading alongside you. As a School District of Philadelphia graduate, president of the Board of Education, and father of 2 schools in the district, I can proudly say that I am SDP. And that's what energizes me every day to serve alongside these amazing board members. Under Dr. Wallington's leadership, the district has done an incredible job rebuilding public education in our city by aligning resources, refining practices, and making progress toward the goals outlined in our strategic plan, Accelerate Philly, and has done a great job working with our unions. I believe we have some union leadership in the room. Thank you for being here as well. To support this work, the board remains laser focused on creating and overseeing policies and a budget to help every student succeed. We do this predominantly through our goals and guardrails, which center on increased academic achievement, college and career readiness, safe schools, family engagement, and eliminating systemic barriers to provide a well-rounded education for all students. Indeed, we aspire to educate the whole child. Dr. Wallington will provide a full picture update on the district's progress, but I will share that we are experiencing an educational renaissance right here in Philadelphia. The collective energy to launch our school district into the stratosphere, I believe, is indeed working. And I believe the board is excited. Is that right, board? We excited? That's right. This work has not been easy for the board and the village, and the progress we have and will continue to make will not happen overnight. But the incremental changes we're seeing are a sign that we're moving as a collective in the right direction. That said, whether it's Project Rise for our charters or the aforementioned goals and guardrails, the board is united in its commitment to creating a system of public education in which we will utilize all the tools available to ensure that academic achievement and the conditions to educate the whole child are present. Indeed, we know our system of public education in Philadelphia requires strong policies and practices to ensure that we are stewards of a system that delivers high-quality education in total. Moreover, we know that without these tools that our children receive from a quality public education, our students will be relegated to a future which they cannot realize any future they so desire, making economic apartheid and structural barriers an inescapable reality. Thus, our students lose ultimate agency and autonomy over their lives if we don't deliver. So it follows that this work is paramount, and we can't do it alone. Now more than ever, it takes a village. Whether it's Mama Gail, who I saw earlier, or Mr. Neubauer, we are indeed a village, and we need strong partnerships rooted in our students' best interests to continue strengthening our schools. Whether with families, educators, community organizations, or local businesses, these collaborations will help drive our progress forward, creating an ecosystem of support that empowers our students to succeed and reach their full potential. So if you have any ideas of interest in discussing how we can work together to support our students and educators, I welcome you to reach out. It will take all of us working collaboratively on this vital work to build a brighter future for our children. The youth are counting on us, so we have to get this right. We will get this right. Join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Board President Streeter. Now it's time to hear from our Superintendent, Tony B. Watlington, Sr. Dr. Watlington was sworn in as Superintendent of the School District of Philadelphia in June of 2022. A collaborative and results-oriented leader, Dr. Watlington began his tenure by launching an aggressive 3-phase entry program and plan where he engaged more than 3,000 district stakeholders representing every region of the city to ensure that the new strategic plan was not just his plan, but our plan. Under Superintendent Watlington's leadership over the past 2 years, student attendance has increased. The 4-year graduation rate has increased. Test scores have increased for students in grades 3 through 8. The number of student dropouts has decreased by more than 1,400 students. And for the first time in a decade, the district's student enrollment has increased. That deserves an applause. For his leadership in accelerating academic achievement, Dr. Watlington was recently honored. He was named Superintendent of the Year. He received the honor from the District Administration Leadership Institute, also known as DALI. It's a national pre-K through 12th grade organization of about 14,000 school systems that provide leadership development opportunities for educators across the country. Join us in welcoming Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Tony B. Watlington, Sr. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, good morning. Please take your seats. Good morning. It's good to see all of you. Let me just say, don't we have the best district spokesperson in Monique Braxton? Give her a round of applause. All right. I also want to say a very special thank you to our Chief of Communications and Customer Service, Alex Coppage. Where are you? The organizer. She's in the back running the show. Thank you for your leadership. Dr. John Smith, Jr., the principal here at High School of the Future. Would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you for hosting us today. We want to thank all of our student ushers and volunteers, the people who provided the very nice refreshments and coffee, and the people who are responsible for this building cleanliness. It looks really good here at the School of the Future. So thank you very much. Certainly we want to say thank you to all of you. We are in this together. This does not happen just by osmosis. As Ms. Braxton said, we've made some good progress, significant progress in the past 2 to 3 years. And it's a testament to really outstanding students, young people in the city of Philadelphia. And teachers and principals on the front line and school-based support staff who are not only the units of change, but they are helping to tap that talent. Sometimes that's obvious, and sometimes that's just a little bit less obvious. But they are certainly tapping into it. They're supported by some very fine individuals across the school district. And I want to say very special thank you to Mayor Parker for her leadership, her push to have quality seats. You can tell every time she speaks that she's adamant, and she's just not the politician giving the speech. She really is committed to ensuring that young people are able to live in the safest, cleanest, greenest city, big city in this country with access to economic opportunity for all. And we also want to thank her for that $250 million over the next 5 years. Let's give her a big round of applause. I have the good pleasure to work for 9 outstanding bosses, supervisors, and partners, governance structure. And when the mayor talked about the dysfunction occurring across the nation's 14,000 school districts, I read the news every morning, and every morning one of my friends is fired somewhere in this country, particularly in some of the mid-sized and big city school districts. So I want to give the board a big round of applause for keeping us around for a while. Thank you. This is an outstanding Board of Education. They spend a lot of time in a role that's not paid. And what's unique about the school board in Philadelphia, I get a chance to look at other school board meetings in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago and Miami. Not that I don't have anything else to do, but I make the time to do it. And it's really interesting. This board spends its time focused on goals and guardrails. The board set some very high watermarks, some very high goals for us to meet over the next 5 years, and they monitor it in their meetings regularly. They do policy work, budget work around the goals and guardrails, so I can't say enough good things about the Board of Education. Under the leadership of President Reginald Streeter, Esquire, and Vice President Sarah Ashley Andrews, our new Vice President. Let's give the board one more round of applause, please. I also want to thank our union leaders who are here today. In a lot of big cities across the country, there's a very tough, kind of caustic relationship. Now, don't get it twisted. We don't agree on everything, and they call us to the carpet from time to time. But I want to recognize 5 very fine union leaders and ask them to please stand, and I want us to applaud each one of them. Representing the School Police Association of Philadelphia Union, Bernadette Ambrose Smith, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Representing the Mid-Atlantic District Leader, 32BJ, Service Employees International Union, Mr. John Bynum, would you please stand? You can't miss Mr. Bynum. He's almost as tall as I am. All right. Leading Unite here at Local 34, representing Nicole Hunt, Kira Coleman. We're glad you're here. Also, I can't see out there, but I'm sure they're here. Representing Teamsters Local 502, better known as the Commonwealth Association of School Administrators, or CASA, Dr. Robin P. Cooper. Dr. Cooper, good morning. In fact, we're going to be joining, trying to think differently about how we do professional development, and we're talking about that, and we appreciate that, Dr. Cooper. I know you have a big conference coming up, and you're going to be working with us to do some things with leaders a little different. We appreciate that. And representing Mr. Art Steinberg, who is out of town today, I believe, president of the PFT, Ms. Wendy Coleman and Ms. LaShawna Coleman. Are you here? Would you please stand to be recognized? There they are, right there. And the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers. Thank you for our continued partnership. We can't do this work on behalf of our students without working together. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't thank many other key partners in this room today. We have partners like Comcast. Let's give Comcast a big round of applause. I think I saw Greg Devins earlier. Are you here, sir? Let's recognize Independence Blue Cross. Thank you. Blue Cross Blue Shield. Certainly, we get significant financial investments over many years. 9th grade on track performance across a number of high schools, and the 4-year cohort graduation rate going up is a direct influence from the significant resources that have been provided by the Neubauer Family Foundation. I'll ask Mr. Joe Neubauer and Ms. Becky Cornejo if you'll please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Also, I think we may have representation from the William Penn Foundation. Would you please stand if you're here? Let's give the William Penn Foundation a round of applause. Thank all of you for your time, your talent, and certainly for your treasure. We really appreciate it. Now, to our students, families, teachers, principals, and nonprofit organizations, as well as philanthropic and business leaders, welcome to 2025 State of Schools. As Ms. Braxton said, we are SDP. I am SDP. I love the tagline. All right, she convinced me to take the tie off and wear the shirt and be twins this morning, at least for the next 40 minutes, because she said we have to get you out on time. The question that we asked early in the tenure here was the same question that the Maasai peoples in East Africa ask very often, and how are the children? And we want to come right back to that question again, and we want to be able to clearly think about how are our children. And I'm proud to tell you, we've got a lot of work to do, but our children are well on their way. We've got a very fine leadership team. It's a great board, great community support, great unions. We've got a very fine cabinet, two excellent deputy superintendents, Deputy Superintendent Jermaine Dawson on the academic side, Colonel Oz Hill on operations. Stand up and take a bow, Deputy Superintendents. I can't quite see, but I almost look like I have on the same color tie today. I don't know if that's intentional. And then all the cabinet members, from the Chief of Staff, Sarah Galbally, to Alex Coppage, our Chief of Communications, to I see Dr. Nye, Dr. Banks, Dr. Jubilee, I see Dr. Naray, everybody on the cabinet. If you're Tomas Hanna, Hildebrand Pelzer, Kim Newman, CFO Mike Herbstman, I'm gonna make sure I get all the names. Chief of Safety Craig Johnson, COO Teresa Fleming, our Michael Farrell, our Chief Learning Officer, Mel Harris, our CIO, and the President for the Fund for the School District Philadelphia is here, I think, and our Chief of Talent, Kaylin Connolly. Did I miss anybody?
Catherine's in the aisle.
And, all right, give them a big round of applause. And I missed somebody. Who did I miss? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. The whole strategic plan is built on the best data set, research and data. We just say the best, one of the best for last, that's all. The chief of, listen to this title, the Chief of Evaluation, Research, and Accountability. Dr. Tanya Wolford, stand up and let us give her a round of applause. Good to see you, Dr. Wolford. As Ms. Braxton said, we're very pleased that attendance is trending in the right direction, as well as student performance in grades 3 through 8. More in the lower grades 3 through 8 than the higher grades 3 through 8, but it's trending in the right direction nonetheless. The four-year graduation rate is trending in the right direction, and the number of dropouts is trending down in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely progress, and we should be proud of our young people. I want to get right into a district overview and then get right into a deeper dive into how we're doing. Many of you already know the School District of Philadelphia, the Board of Education under the board president and the board vice president, the board members are responsible for the education of some 200,000 children in this city in multiple sectors. The School District of Philadelphia then is the 8th largest school district, as you well know, and there are 249 district-operated schools. We're a very diverse population, majority African American. Second largest group of students are Latin students, and Latin students are the fastest growing population in the school district. And this district has a population of students who speak nearly 200 different languages, incredibly diverse. And we see that diversity as a strength, and certainly not anything short of a strength. Historians remind me that we stand on the shoulders of great people who've served in this city. Certainly my mentor, Dr. Constance E. Clayton, often reminded me that it's really important to give our kids the very best, because the parents sure aren't leaving the best at home and send us anything but their best. And so I'm humbled to have the opportunity to continue to work in partnership with all the people who are here. And we look forward to actually celebrating the official unveiling, because as you know, our Board of Education renamed the 440 office building to the Dr. Constance E. Clayton Education Center. Big round of applause. All right, now that you know a little bit about who we are, let's get right into our strategic plan entitled Accelerate Philly. because faith, a dream without a plan is nothing more than a wish, and faith without works is dead. So it's all about how well we execute on these 5 priorities. I'm pleased to remind you that the Board of Education unanimously approved Accelerate Philly in 2023. Thousands of Philadelphians had a part in helping to shape this plan, and so we're pleased that the public generally don't respond to this plan as President Streeter's plan or Vice President Andrews' plan or Tony's plan, but our plan, because so many people had an opportunity to participate in its development. There were a wide-ranging group of individuals from across the city who participated in the Listening and Learning Tour. More than 100 people served on the transition team, and then certainly we're pleased that it culminated, in the development of a 5-year aggressive strategic plan, Accelerate Philly. The 5 focus areas you'll see, and these are intentionally in this order. 1, improve safety and well-being, both physical safety and social and emotional health and well-being. The reason why we want to call out social and emotional health and well-being is because since the 70s in the United States, when people have been polled in this country and they have asked, what do you want schools to focus on? Hardcore reading, math, and academic performance, or social and emotional development, interpersonal skills. Historically, the pendulum has been very high reading and math, especially since that famous report came out in 1983 from the Reagan White House called A Nation at Risk. The pendulum is starting to balance because people recognize there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of needs that our young people have, and so we have to balance both this push to improve test scores and to make sure that our children are healthy and well. That's why that for Area 1 is so important. And we're so pleased that on the physical safety side, we're pleased under the mayor and the police commissioner's leadership and others, and the very fine men and women in uniform, that crime and violent crime and gun violence are down in our city. We're really pleased. Area 2, to partner with families and community. As Mama Gail would remind us, to be equal partners, not to think that we know what's best for communities, but be equal partners and to listen intently to our families. Area 3, core business, to accelerate academic achievement for all student groups. Area 4, recruit and retain the best staff. I'm so pleased to hear the mayor talk about the importance of staffing teachers in particular, since there's such a decline coming out of our universities, and to deliver high-quality, cost-effective operations. Now, this plan has 63 very clear and research-based strategic actions. Dr. Wolford insisted that nothing get in this plan without some research to support it, and 47 of those have launched at some level. In addition to the strategic plan, we know there are 5 things that we're putting our time, our talent, and our treasure to. There are 5 things that we're focusing on throughout this plan because we know this is what really makes the difference. And we've got research over 50 plus years that tells us this. Number 1, the number 1 factor, regardless of your zip code, income, or any other characterization or characteristic, the number 1 factor influencing whether kids grow academically is if they have access to a highly qualified, well-supported, stable teacher over time. A student who's behind, who gets a highly qualified, well-supported, stable teacher 3 consecutive years can narrow gaps in performance. If the opposite happens, then the opposite happens. Number 2, the same is true for principals. Number 2 in the research, and principals are so important because they're the people who onboard, recruit, and develop, and retain our teachers. They need access to the very best curriculum, not just pulling things off the internet, not just finding textbook companies in California and just say, send us some of your textbooks, but we need the very best curriculum. Number 4, they have to have more time on task. More time to master the curriculum, and to make sure that what's going on in the classroom every day is strong core instruction. Core instruction is really important. because we can't tutor and mentor our way to significant improvement to reach the board's goals and guardrails. Ideally, we want 80% of our students to master what teachers teach, and there to be on the average 20% who need some kind of special intervention. And then certainly priority area 5, engage with parents and guardians as equal partners, because parents are our children's first teachers. I would like to share now my charge and just get right into the data about how the district is doing. As superintendent, my charge is to certainly push us in the direction so that we meet the board's goals and guardrails on time. We've got a window through 2029-30 to accomplish some really lofty goals, and by doing the right kind of work, we are absolutely moving in the right direction to do that. And we also are focused on positioning our school district to be the fastest improving large urban school district, not for bragging rights, but because our children in Philadelphia absolutely deserve it. I was listening to a national conference webinar, and I was actually offended when someone last year, when the data came out that showed that Philadelphia had significantly improved, one of the commentators said, "We don't expect those kind of results out of Philadelphia." And I said, that is just because a city may have a higher poverty rate than some other cities, it doesn't mean that kids' intellectual capacity is any different. And we've got to think that way. Let's give that a big round of applause. That said, as the mayor said, in the past couple of days, the National Center for Education Statistics released the nation's report card. And the nation's report card was developed in 1969. Now, in the U.S., we do things different than Western Europe and other places. Some places say we'll have a national Ministry of Education, we'll have national standards that everybody will aspire to. In the United States, we leave it up to 50 different states and 14,000 school districts. And we say the government ought to stay out of it generally, because the 10th Amendment says that those powers not given to the federal government resides with the states. And since the Constitution said nothing about education in terms of how it would occur, it's become a state area of responsibility. Now, what's interesting is this. There's only one academic measure, there's only one test in this nation that a group of students take in all 50 states and that a group of students take in all of the 26 what we call NAEP tutor districts, big city school districts. The report card showed it tests performance in 4th grade reading and math across all 50 states, 8th grade reading and math across all 50 states. And we were very pleased to learn that in the school district of Philadelphia, our 4th graders made a significant 7-point gain from 2022 to 2024. Let's give our kids a big round of applause. When we compare across other states and we look at the graduation rate and dropout rate, our graduation rate has increased 6.3 percentage points over the past 2 to 3 years. And the number of dropouts have been reduced by 1,400 students. Our students are making progress. Let's give our students a hand. Now, I want to rewind back to this time last year. In January of 2024, researchers at Harvard University and Stanford University issued the first post-COVID study to ask how are the country's children doing since all schools were closed in March of 2020. And the study covered 30 states and 60% of the entire United States public school population. And what that study found, and the Inquirer and the Tribune covered this, was that in 3rd through 8th grade math, among the big city school districts, in 3rd through 8th grade math, the school district of Philadelphia had the best recovery rebound performance last year. That's worth a big round of applause. Number 2 was Los Angeles, and you can see how the numbers flow there. But Philly, and we keep saying this, from 2019 to 2023, we're in 2025 now, but this was the headline last year. It happened after State of Schools, so we make sure you know about this. Philly was one, followed by Los Angeles, and you can see how the other districts fared in terms. When you look at reading performance in 3rd through 8th grade in the NAEP test, when they look from 2019 to 2023, state test scores comparison, you can see that the Chicago Public Schools had the best rebound performance, and the School District of Philadelphia was number 2. Give our kids a hand. People always say, is it enough? Point blank, absolutely not. We won't settle, and we'll have a fierce sense of urgency, in part because the Board of Education has established some aggressive goals and guardrails, and they expect us to continue to drive performance forward. But we know that our kids need to graduate career or college ready so that they can participate in the world's largest economy, no matter their zip code. Let me just quickly review what's happened in the past couple of years in terms of the data. Let's get right into it. The number of students who have, for the first time in a decade, the district increased its student enrollment by 1,841 students. That's significant. We've been pushing hard on student attendance. We want every child in the School District of Philadelphia to come to school 90% of every month and 90% of the year, because Dr. Walford's studies show that if you come to school 90% of the year, you will learn and you'll get better. And the reason why historically the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania average is higher than the Philadelphia average is because the average of student attendance across the Commonwealth has been significantly higher than in Philadelphia. So that's why it's so important for us to work together and focus on attendance. I'm pleased to report that over the past year, the number of kids who increased their attendance to the 90% level increased by 3,500 children. I think that's remarkable. The number of 3rd grade students scoring proficient on the state test, the PSSA test, increased by 6.2 percentage points. The percentage of our students performing proficient in math, 3rd through 8th grade math, increased by 5.5 percentage points. The 3rd grade reading improved by 6.6 percentage points. And there's a test that not all of our, but most of our, a good number of our career and technical education students will take in the high schools. It's called the NOCTI test. It assesses your workplace readiness skills. Over the past 2 years, the percentage of our kids who have passed that test has increased by 13.6 percentage points. The 4-year graduation rate has increased by 6.3 percentage points, and the number of dropouts has decreased by 1,400 students. This is really, really important. Here's what if you ask me what are the 2 things I'm most proud of, I would say 3 things, really. One, I'm pleased that we're trying to find the balance between improving test scores and having healthy and well children, investing in social and emotional learning support, because we also know that kids are more than a test score, but we should not ignore test scores, and we should be getting better. And we want to be getting better faster than a lot of other big cities, than all the other big city school districts. Number 2, I'm pleased that we're not getting better by pushing kids who have poor attendance out, by pushing kids who don't have the best test scores out, by pushing kids who may sometimes be a little bit hard to love, and who may sometimes need a little help with how to redirect their behaviors. We're not throwing any of our children away. That's really important. Big round of applause for that. And then 3rd, I'm pleased, and I think Dr. Frank Makos is here somewhere. Are you here, Dr. Makos? With his fine leadership in the academics department, we're investing more resources into the arts and to some of the quality of life areas as designated by the Board of Education. There's a guardrail around enriching opportunities. And so I'm very pleased that the board is holding us accountable for that. Big round of applause for our students again. Now, we've talked about the NAEP assessments, but just very quickly, I want to make sure, just to remind you, 7 points is really important. 7-point increase that we just learned about yesterday, and you've seen it on the national news. I watched the national news last night, and they talked about it, and they said, well, the kids in America are not doing well, and things are flat. And in Philadelphia, we've got a long way to go, but a 7 percentage point increase in fourth grade performance means that we outpaced all but 4 of the participating 26 urban tutor districts. Really important. Our kids exceeded the national public average and the averages of large urban districts. Also, our students in Philadelphia, now our kids perform lower historically overall than the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania average, but our recovery after the pandemic, according to NAEP, is outpacing the Pennsylvania state average. So we're making more progress based on where the state is progressing. This is a huge for our school district, and we want to thank each and every one of you. I also want to note that we're one of the districts whose performance in 4th and 8th grade reading and math remains steady, whereas most districts saw some decline. Nationally, public and large city school districts continue to see declines across all 4 areas, and in this district, we've been able to hold the line and make some progress, most progress in 4th grade. I believe, in fact, I know, when the Congress appropriated money starting in March of 2020 for the pandemic, the school district of Philadelphia put those dollars to good use. I'll never forget it. There was a big debate among Democrats and Republicans in the Congress about some people were saying, look, if you give these school districts more money, all they'll do is waste it. They won't get better. It's big government, it's wasteful spending. I'm so glad that from 2020 to 2024, that the Board of Education, my predecessor, Dr. William Hite Jr., and myself, and all of you have done some really good work to put those $1.1 billion to good use. And we're going to continue to make that case that we're good stewards of the public tax dollars. The mayor talked about her priorities. I want to say a couple of words. She gave you the data. I'll just say it very quickly. I'm pleased that we've been able to launch the 20 district extended day and extended year schools. To date, 74% of the seats in those 20 schools are filled. 70% of those 20 schools are offering intramural sports, and 100% of those 20 schools are offering enrichment opportunities, everything from chess to coding, intramural sports, all the kind of things that some kids in the suburbs, as the mayor said, just get as a standard operating procedure. And I'm so pleased that we're able to provide those resources here to our students in these pilot schools as well. We will continue to monitor to see what the impact is on attendance. How many of our extended day schools at the end of the year have an increase in the number of students who are in school 90% of the school year. Now, another one of the mayor's priorities is the City College for Municipal Employment. We are excited under the leadership of our academics team and working closely with President Guy Generals and the Community College of Philadelphia to provide our young people opportunities to prep, to get ready, to take the test that they need to take to get into some of these jobs, to have the interpersonal skills they need to be successful in those jobs, and to make sure they have the academic skills to be successful in those jobs. Over the next year, we will look forward to reporting how many of our kids are going into these city jobs where they're able to command some good wages and salaries and some good benefits. It will do more along the path of the mayor's vision of access to economic opportunity for all, and we're excited about that. Now, let's talk about where we're headed. We've got 3 big focus areas over the next year. Accelerating academic achievement, we're going to keep our foot on the gas to continue to grow as measured by test scores. We are going to continue to improve our customer service, and we're going to do more to partner with our parents and families. Relative to academic achievement, we are going to continue to develop our teachers to make sure that they know the content, to make sure that teachers understand and have support with how to make the teaching interesting to kids. You can go into any classroom and you can tell if kids are paying attention. I'm looking at all of you and I can tell that you're paying attention. I don't see anybody with the head down, although I can't see the back row back there. So we want kids to be engaged. We want them to be able to demonstrate their learning. Now, let me be really clear on academic achievement where we're not doing well. We want to be very transparent. Algebra has been a problem for us for a long time. I'm excited, though, because under accelerating academic achievement priority, we're working with the University of Pennsylvania to provide some targeted teaching support just for algebra teachers. Number two, we've launched that new math curriculum that Penn Alexander has been using for years, illustrative math. It's going to pay off if we just stay the course. It's going to pay off in algebra. We just need a little bit more time. And number three, under Dr. Dawson's leadership, we're going to give our kids an opportunity to take that algebra test again. I didn't realize when I moved here that unlike a lot of other states, you actually can take the test more than once, best by 11th. We're going to do it, and we're going to incentivize our kids to take a second bite or third bite at the apple, and we're going to get them access to our very best algebra teachers so that we can move algebra performance. We're also launched the new reading curriculum this year, Expeditionary Learning and Study Sync with Novels. I am so proud of our teachers. Think about this. Last year, across all of our schools, K-12, teachers had to learn a brand new math curriculum. Forget about the fact that it's green rated. It's one of the best in the country, in the world. They've been using it at Penn Alexander, one of the highest performing schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I would dare say the nation, for years. And it's a curriculum that many kids in Singapore use. Dr. Farrell, our chief learning officer, went to visit Singapore, so he saw it firsthand. But it levels the playing field, and it gives, and I'm so pleased that our teachers just wrapped their arms around this new learning, because that was not an easy task. This year, we're launching a new math curriculum, the new reading curriculum. And then next year, we'll launch a new science curriculum. So let's give our teachers a big, big, big round of applause. I want to thank in particular the PFT and CASA as well for your willingness to come and be a partner in the superintendent's principal and teacher advisory councils. I think it models that we're doing this work together and in partnership, and for that, we are so very grateful. I also want to now note that in terms of improving customer service, as you well know, this past year, the district was reorganized into 15 geographic learning networks so that we can place resources close to the families and parents. And so when a parent or a community member has a need or a concern, they don't have to come to the Dr. Constance C. Clayton Education Center. They can go see the assistant superintendent in the respective 15 learning networks. It places resources close to the parents, and it takes this notion of Philadelphia being a city of neighborhoods as capitalizing on that as a strength and not a deficit. May I ask our assistant superintendents who lead schools if you'll please stand along with your deputy superintendent and associate superintendents, if you'll stand. Give them a big round of applause. Please keep standing. These are the people who are leading the charge out in those learning networks, making sure that curriculum supports get to teachers, finding out what they need on the front lines. Let's give them one more round of applause, please. Thank you so much. And then certainly in the customer service, I recall in the listening and learning tour, a number of individuals said they felt that frustration about the district's ability or practice of responding to phone calls or emails or letters in a timely manner or at all, some folks said. And so this past year, we launched a two-way communication system, Let's Talk. The Board of Education's office and the Superintendent's office piloted it last year. We've rolled it out to the schools this year. It does two things. One, it says, do we respond to our parents and community in a timely manner? Do we get back to folks quickly? Well, the data from Let's Talk says that we've got 30,000 inquiries so far this year, 30,000. And the data says that we're getting back to folks on average 3 days, 3.2 days, with a customer service score of 7.9. I think that's pretty good. Let's give our schools a big round of applause. And so I want to encourage all of you and tell your friends, when you interact with the school district and it gives you a chance to take a very brief survey, please do take it. You know what usually happens, usually President Streeter, spokesperson Braxton, the people who fill out the survey are only the people who are mad. And so we're getting some good survey responses. So we not that we want the number to go down, but we want to make sure everybody, we want accuracy in reporting. We're really proud of that, so thank you so much. Relative to family engagement, later this spring, we are going to relaunch, finally, Parent and Family University. We are looking forward to it. We have taken a little bit of time to do the finishing planning, and I want to note that it was a big hit. We've heard many times when the late Dr. Arlene Ackerman was superintendent here, and I'm so excited about how we will relaunch Parent and Family University. We're going to staff up a superintendent's parent and guardian advisory council. This will give some additional input and support and feedback. The board also has a PICAC family group that they routinely get feedback from, so we're going to take a page out of the Board of Education's book and try to continue that work. And I'm really excited when we relaunch Parent Family University, we're also going to launch an app, a friendly parent app, so that parents can communicate on cell phones with the district, because my Student Advisory Council tells me that emails and letters are out, apps are in, Instagram is in, and, well, maybe TikTok. Is TikTok still going here? Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to leave that alone. All right, so relaunch Parent Family University, launch a Parent Advisory Council, and launch a Parent and Family app. Really looking forward to that. Almost finished, I promise. I want to say a word. The mayor talked about facilities, and we've learned a lot from the past about how to have a facilities planning process that engages cross sections of the city. Before I get into that, I want to just note and tick off a few things that our operations team has done today. Last year, they constructed the new Thomas Pierce, T.M. Pierce School with the ribbon cutting ceremony. They complete $43.9 million project, provided students with a state-of-the-art building. Then the Lewis C. Cassidy School opened. Cassidy is a very fine 21st century learning school to the tune of $62.1 million. And what's unique about this is the first public school that we're aware of developed by a majority black-owned construction company. Outstanding. Equally important, more than half of the work at the Lewis Cassidy School was completed by minority or women and/or women-owned businesses, and that far exceeds the district's target of 35%. Last week, we had a steel-topping ceremony at Amy at James Martin and Thomas Home Elementary. That project will be the sixth newly constructed innovative school in over the last decade. Kudos to our Board of Education for having the vision to appropriate the funding. Let's give the board a big round of applause. And kudos to our Deputy Superintendent for Operations. I'm going to ask him to stand, Colonel Oz Hill, and our Chief Operations Officer, Teresa Fleming. Give them a big round of applause. It is no easy feat to get all these projects completed on time, and as the Colonel says, on budget. All right, we'll continue to invest in buildings and modernize classrooms, And over the next 4 years, I want you to know that our Board of Education has authorized over $2.5 billion to improve learning environments. Now, that's really significant. In addition to building new schools, we're improving the conditions in schools. The number of schools that don't have adequate air conditioning, such that we have to close those schools early on hot weather days, has decreased from 118 in the school year 22-23 to 57 at present. Kudos to the operations team. They're working on the plan to keep moving right on down the road. I also want to say a word before I conclude and take my seat, Spokesperson Braxton, on the facilities planning process. In 2022, our Board of Education gave us clear direction to begin a facilities plan, and since that time, we got to work as a team, as a community, and phases 1 through 7 are complete. In November of this past year, the board passed a resolution giving me clear direction that we need to get phase 8 completed and do it in a manner that provides our communities more, not less. I'll say that again, more, not less. While we also address the issue of overcrowded and undercrowded schools. It is important to note that we are committed to facilitating a process that is deep, robust, and provides deep, robust, and transparent community participation. So I appreciate the board for its modeling of the need to be transparent, to communicate with our community. That said, there are 2 problems we're solving for. You've heard this. If you've been to the number of sessions around the city, led by Colonel Hill, you've heard this many times, but it bears saying again. 2 problems we're solving for. Number 1, we got a lot of old schools in Philadelphia. The average age is 73, a number are older than 120 years old. And no different than your house, my house, a car, you got to put money into old stuff. Sometimes they get too old and it doesn't make sense to put more money into them in terms of return on investment. Second problem we're solving for, the number of students in the district-operated schools is lower than the space that we have available for students in the district-operated schools. Although, we're real sure pleased to learn that enrollment went up this year by over 1,800 students, and we're hopeful that will happen every year going forward. In terms of more, on the right side, you'll see the outcomes that we want to provide more stuff for our families. That was the graphic on the right side. I want to thank the operations team, Colonel Hill, Chief Fleming, and our senior advisor for strategy, Claire Landau. Ms. Landau, would you stand and please be recognized as well? You've been a great partner to that team. She was a former chief of staff to the board. She, the Colonel, Chief Fleming, and their team have held more than 32 community conversations. They've launched 10 advisory groups, and there's a survey out in the field that we want to encourage all of you to take, if you would be so kind to do so. So I want to say a couple of words about the district budget, health, and outlook as well. Let me begin by saying the Board of Education has been great stewards of our finances, whether they are federal dollars, state, or local dollars. In the past year, we received 2 credit ratings upgrades. In May, Fitch Ratings upgraded the district's long-term bond rating to investment grade for the first time in the district's history since the late 70s. Let's give that a big round of applause. And in October, Moody's upgraded us to our highest level in at least 4 decades. Big round of applause. CFO Mike Herbson, I'd like to ask you to please stand. He had a big job to replace Ori Munson, who went to be the budget secretary for Governor Shapiro, and we're glad he's here. Fiscal responsibility continues to be a big priority for this administration. Within our limited resources, these are the 5 priority areas that we will drive on in the upcoming year. I won't read them to you again because we're almost at time, but this is on our website. These are the 5 areas that we're going to drive hard on, along with those 3 big bucket areas that we talked about earlier. And so I'm going to encourage you to take some time to go to www.philasd.org and learn about where our federal, state, and local tax dollars and philanthropic tax dollars will be applied in the coming year. I want to commend and thank Governor Shapiro and key leaders, as the mayor did, from Philadelphia. State Senator Vincent Hughes, Speaker Joanna McClinton, Chairman Jordan Harris, the Appropriations Chair, and our delegation leader, Representative Morgan Cephas, and others. Give them a big round of applause. $232 million more dollars in this year's budget makes a huge difference. It's historic, and I'm excited and so hopeful that President Strader, that Governor Shapiro will do the same, will recommend something similar or more when he gives his budget address in the next couple of weeks. I also want to thank Mayor Parker, because that $250 million additional dollars, real dollars, over the next 5 years will absolutely help us to accelerate achievement, to focus on improving customer service, and to launch a really, really state-of-the-art parent and family university and partner more with families as equal partners. We are a city in a commonwealth where historic underfunding has been a phenomenon for a long time. So as we began to get more resources, we can slowly continue to, it's like turning a super tanker around in the middle of the Delaware River. You can't just do it with one swoop, one push, turn that ship around. But I think when I think about the budget resources starting to come, just know we're going to be good stewards of those resources, and we're committed to communicating the return on investment that we get from all our federal, state, and local dollars. So I want to conclude the way we began with the Maasai people's question, and how are the children? Even in warfare, the expectation in East Africa is that everybody be able to answer by saying, all the children are well. I am here to tell you all of our children are not well yet, and the operative word is yet. But I am here to tell you with great pride in our partnerships that more of our children are well. 3,500 more of them have 90% attendance. Thousands of them improved their 3rd through 8th grade reading and math performance. More than 1,400 of them changed their dropout status. And thousands, hundreds, have increased their 4-year graduation rates. So all of our children are not well. More of our children are well. And we will operate with a fierce sense of urgency, and we will not rest until all of our children are well. Good morning, and thank you so very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Watlington. What progress. Let's give him another round of applause. What progress he's made going into his 3rd year overseeing the School District of Philadelphia. And we want to acknowledge someone else. Mr. Luker, you're here representing Governor Shapiro. Please stand for us. Thank you so much for coming. I'd now like to introduce you to our closing out group. They're definitely terrific and worth the wait to see. The Edward Gideon Dance Ensemble, directed by Tiana Sanders. Come on out, Gideon Dance Ensemble. And we all noticed that today they are wearing school district blue today. Wonderful. Beautiful. Tiana, where are you? Are you in the aisle someplace? She's in the middle in the back. Give her a round of applause. Tiana Sanders, thank you. That was beautiful. I was thinking, could I come work out with y'all? But then the split, that was like, no, I can't do that. But thank you so much. They were beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the School District of Philadelphia, thank you for joining us this morning. As you leave, please pick up something, whether it's a bracelet, a pin, a t-shirt from our I Am SDP campaign. Join us. If you're a proud graduate, employee, or supporter of the School District of Philadelphia, take a selfie in front of the wall out front, our I Am SDP campaign. It's in the lobby. Post it on all of your social media. I know you all are on social media now. You heard Dr. Watlington say that's how we're going to reach more of our students as well as parents. If you grabbed a raffle ticket, check the screen in the lobby, and maybe you'll see your lucky winning number. We have prizes in the lobby. Again, thanks so much for joining us. Safe travels, have a terrific day, and keep saying, I am SDP. I am SDP. Thank you all so much.